heard the phrase,
all the gear, no idea.
And at what point is it deemed okay to have all the gear? Let's start by saying if you want all the gear, then get all the gear. I mean, we're not going to be judging anybody, and after all, it is your money. So if you want a new bike or new wheels, new shoes, the latest sports watch, then go for it. But maybe you've been doing triathlon for quite a while now on some pretty basic kit, and you're starting to think about having a few upgrades here and there, but you're not quite sure whether you're ready for it.
Well, I'm going to use myself as a bit of an example here, because when I first got into triathlon, I was continually up against people on all the latest and greatest gear, and it used to frustrate the heck out of me that I wasn't on the same and that I was potentially at a disadvantage. But at the same time, I was new to the sport, I had a lot to learn, my foundations and training background were pretty limited and minimal, so a coach at the time would always tell me, just keep racing on the gear that you have, and that actually those fancy carbon fibre bikes and race wheels were just there as the extra few percentage when you knew you had done everything possible. And that bit of advice has stuck with me, and actually since I've passed it on to a lot of other athletes over the years. But when do you know that you're at this imaginary checkpoint, I guess you could call it? Well, I've tried to put together a bit of a checklist for you so that you know when you're at that point. One is that you've been following a good quality training plan, you've been executing that training plan well, you've been consistent with your training for a good period of time. You've also been getting plenty of sleep and good quality sleep. You've got loads of race experience. You've been arriving at sessions ready to knock them out of the park, being well fueled and well hydrated. And you've been working on your transitions. Basically, you've gone to the nth degree with all your training and everything around it.
That doesn't mean though that you need to be a world-class athlete at the end of this. You do just need to have put in a huge amount of effort and proven to yourself that you're determined and you're committed. And you'll soon get to know that, because when you do actually go and purchase some of these upgrades, you'll really feel that reward for all of your hard work. And there is such a selection out there of what to get. So we've selected a bit of a picking order of things we think would make sense to go and buy one at a time, as we're presuming you're not going to go out and get everything in one huge shopping spree.
Now this first one is a bit of an odd one, and you might not consider it an upgrade to start off with, but the saddle. I mean, given that it is your main contact point with the bike, the bit that probably takes a majority of your body's weight, it is crazy that we overlook it so much. I mean, so many people part of a poor saddle, or a saddle just doesn't work for them and their position. I know some athletes that have gone through countless saddles to find one that they're happy with, they're confident, comfortable with, and really feel like they can lay the power down with. Me personally, I actually found one really quickly that I was really happy with, but once I found that, I never strayed away from it.
Next up, we've got clothing, and believe it or not, there's actually a huge amount of free speed to be found through the fit and the type of material that you're actually wearing. Take the wetsuit, for example. Having a properly fitting wetsuit that's suited for your swimming ability, say if you've got sinky legs, then it's more buoyant there, that can have a huge benefit. And also a wetsuit that's got full flexibility around the shoulders can reduce any resistance that you might be having on every stroke, so again, having a big knock-on effect. And then there's the aerodynamics of a tri-suit, even if it's something as simple as just upgrading to a suit that fits properly, so you're no longer having fabric that's flapping around. Or you could take it to the next step and get a tri-suit with better fabric, or even having something that's going from sleeveless down to sleeves, as that's proven to be more aerodynamic as well.
Now it might seem like I'm jumping up in price a little bit here, but my next suggestion is a power meter. And it's not until you have one of these that you truly start to understand the benefit and the value that they can bring, not just to your racing, but also to your training and making your workouts far more specific. Because a power meter can provide instantaneous, real-time feedback as to how hard you're working, as opposed to the lag that you quite often experience with heart rate monitors as it rises and drops slowly. And as a result, and to put this into some context, you'd be pretty hard pushed to find a pro cyclist or a pro triathlete that isn't using a power meter regularly. And that's not to say that you should become a slave to the numbers, but it can certainly enhance your training and racing.
And then we have the sports watch. I'm aware though that most of you guys probably have some sort of sports watch already, as they are so useful in our day-to-day training. But at the higher end, you can have a watch that works for various sports, but also gives you that additional data, which becomes really interesting when you're maybe working with a coach or you're sticking to a specific training plan, as it can help you to really get into the depths of your training. And also it will give you an overall view of your health and fitness and where you are with reaching those goals.
All right, and how about the turbo trainer? I appreciate these aren't everyone's best friend, and perhaps the last thing if you want to spend your hard-earned cash on, but similarly to the power meter, these can really enhance your training and subsequently your racing. Now there's more and more people are doing their training indoors. It's efficient and it allows you to just crack on with your training totally uninterrupted. Perfect for interval sessions, for cramming your training in around work or life, or when the weather is less than ideal.
But what about the bike and the wheels? I can hear you shouting at me right now. This is the area that people get most excited about. But I have to admit, it comes further down on our list of potential upgrades. And that's not because they aren't beneficial, it's more because they usually come with a rather huge price tag. I would actually suggest that you start off by investing in some new wheels. So go for something that's maybe a little bit deeper, potentially even lighter, as these can have serious improvements on your aerodynamics and speed on the road.
But if you're ready for and really want to go for that extra few percentage, then it's time to upgrade the bike. Now hopefully getting an upgraded bike will be better suited to the needs of triathlon, with aero bars, integrated storage, etc, etc, but also making sure that it's comfortable, well fitted to you, and most importantly, fast. Now if you have enjoyed today's video, hit that thumbs up, like button, and if you'd like to see more from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to see how to choose a triathlon bike, see a video for that just down here. And if you'd like to find out what happens to you when you stop training, you can see that video clicking just down here.